and we will begin. Hello, Tythus. You exist?
Is anyone there?
And we are getting a Tythus cam. Yeah. Flemish supremacy is very right. Hello, Tythus. How are you doing today?
Um, it's been pretty good so far.
What time is it where you are? Because it's like 9 in the morning for me.
It's almost 5:30.
Okay. All right. Very good.
That's a PM, not
Yeah,
not
I was like, that's a little crazy. That's great. Well, we'll start off. I'll introduce myself, and then I'll ask Tythus to introduce himself just kind of from the beginning. So, like I said, I'm Zach Clay. I started playing on LOTC way back in 2011 at this point. Yeah, it's 10 years ago. And I have my first character on the server was an orc named Brunhilder. Maybe some of you have played with my orc before on the server or anything like that. But I remember when I was 13 years old, 2011 was sort of the glory days of Minecraft, right? And all the new servers were coming out, all the stuff was getting made, and I just found this server called Lord of the Craft. And even though at 13 I hadn't even read Lord of the Rings yet or seen the movies, I was like, huh, this sounds like fantasy or
I'm very
something.
upset about you about that.
Okay.
God.
When did you
I've not even
read
watched the film.
we watched the film at what, 6 years old?
Well, the films went out when I was 6 years old.
Oh.
Well,
That's beside the point.
Not Peter Jackson's films.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't talk about the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from my history on LOTC, which I'm sure we're gonna spend the next hour talking about our personal histories with LOTC, but aside from that, I do voice acting. I've streamed here for a little bit at least when OBS was not messing with me. And I also do a lot of D&D stuff. For those of you that play LOTC that don't know anything about D&D, I highly recommend you look into it. It's a very closely adjacent game that I think pretty much everyone that plays LOTC would love playing D&D. And in fact, I'm sure some people in chat right now play D&D or are in campaigns right now. And if you are, then let us know. That's pretty cool. I love hearing about people's D&D campaigns. So that's me. So Tythus, tell us a little bit about, as much about yourself as you want, and then I guess sort of leading into our first real topic, which is how LOTC started with your involvement. But yeah, introduce yourself first.
So I'm Tythus. Otherwise, the people in the real world who know me, I'm Carl. When Lord of the Craft started, I was 19.
Okay.
Extrapolate from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm also very much into fantasy and that sort of stuff. My normal D&D class is Bard because I just love the idea of thinking of someone beating someone up with like a giant loot, because that's just that's just a thing for me.
Exactly.
And it's one of the only classes which has remained almost unchanged throughout all the editions. Like bits have changed, but its general sort of like.
I never really played I played a little bit of 3.5 because I know everyone avoided 4th edition D&D like the plague. A lot of people did. There were still some good aspects, but yeah. Anyway,
it really depended on where I was playing. Really, was for which rules which we were indoctrinated to use.
Yeah. But yeah, so at 19, a lot of and I'm sure earlier than that, a lot of fantasy stuff and things like that.
I read Rings the first time when I was 8.
You read Lord of the Rings
Not
the first
6.
time when you were 8. Dang. Did you read The Hobbit first?
Yes, I read The Hobbit first. I didn't read The Fellowship or anything.
That's a proper way to do it.
That's how I got onto the Fellowship, because I finished it. Oh, this is really good. I want to read is there another book? They said, yes, there is.
3.
It's called The Fellowship.
Yeah,
like,
hundreds of pages later.
Yeah.
That's good. So, Minecraft is coming out in like 2010, was it? 09, beta, alpha, right?
9. Yeah, I got it when pre-inf dev.
Wow. How did you catch wind of Minecraft that early?
I just happened to be just on the Google, just looking, and I was just like, it's cool. It's this free thing I can try. I was just building some cool things. and I did the thing which everyone does the first time they play Minecraft. They made a giant dick.
Yeah, what everyone does the first time they play Minecraft.
Well, at least back.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I'm
remembering my first when Minecraft was browser only. Yeah, like Lucindir is saying that I remember being in my middle school library, and it was cool on lunch in middle school. You would go into the library, and then all the kids, like, there was only like 5 computers, and every single one of them was a kid playing Minecraft, and it was like the alpha version where it was just literally caves and lava. Like, you just go through. But yeah, so that leads us sort of into let's actually start talking about LOTC. So how did that get started, at least from your perspective? What was the beginning of your involvement with that?
It was from a help wanted post on Planet Minecraft. Long may she be remembered.
So, wow. So if someone else had been there, they would have been in your position, feasibly.
Well, yeah, well, like same as Shift Native and a couple others, where we were just looking and said, "Oh, this is cool." Yeah,
Wow.
This will be fun.
So you guys just almost accidentally, not accidentally, but, fortuitously became the founding people of the server just from finding that help wanted thing. I never knew that. That's cool. So what did you have to do at first? What was the help that was wanted that you did?
So the way it worked was that there was 4 of us who joined, and each of us got handed a kingdom. Right.
Wow.
We were orcs, humans, dwarves, elves.
Yeah.
Shift, you do the elves. Carl, you do the orcs.
Yeah. So so this was back in the day, because I know some of my old orc lore. I pride myself in knowing that you were kind of the original leader of the orcs. I actually interviewed Magroka as the last LOTC person I interviewed. So we talked shortly about that, actually. But yeah, so you were handed the orcs. Wow, that's crazy.
The whole idea with the orcs was really that they were meant to be some kind of, or at least my intention was to be some kind of very a Jekyll and Hyde, sort of like,
Yeah.
They're normal, but like if they trigger, then that.
Yeah, that's actually, I've never thought about it like that, but that's a good comparison. Interesting. So you were put in charge of the orcs, and then how did that also translate to, like, out of character responsibilities?
So like being a GM and that sort of.
So you were handed leadership of the in-game nation, and you were basically like hired on to be, well, not hired, but brought on to be an admin.
Yeah, because me and Shift were trying to, because initially there weren't GMs, right? I think we were a bit naive in that approach.
Yeah.
But initially both me and Shift were both leaders, and naturally we'd have troublemakers who would cause all sorts of mayhem and mischief. And so we were made effectively GMs. Well, at that point, it was admin or not admin. There wasn't really any segregation at that point. I eventually moved into forums because that's where, because I've been for a like forum mod on like many other sites before, so it was something that I was comfortable with.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was trying vainly to keep.
Wow. I never knew that. I didn't really know much about the actual like inception of the server, because I know that the original owner was there, and then suddenly you guys were there. But you've just like filled in that little space in time. So it was literally just a random help wanted thing that now 10 years later. Wow.
I was during Easter break.
Wow. Of 2011.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay, and from there, you know, the server starts, LOTC. It starts picking up steam. What are your memories from sort of the beginning of the server, like as LOTC was still defining itself and like figuring out what it was? Because there's not, you know, I would say World of Warcraft or like other MMO roleplay servers, or like if you roleplay on like Final Fantasy 14 or things like that, that's the most similar, I would say, to what we do. We're still kicking after all this time. So what are some of your like memories and foundational things of that time when it was like, oh, this is a thing, you know?
Being chased and hunted down by 1,000 dwarves. As like I was just wandering around minding my own business, and then Avela was leading a group of like all the dwarves on the bloody server at that time. And then I remember like I was just walking in and just being this legion in front of me. I'm like, what on earth have I just done now?
What did I do to deserve this? That's
How
crazy.
This happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I just remember, you know, spawning in the Cloud Temple, and then there was, do you remember Terrico Village? It was the little village right on the side of the Cloud Temple, and I remember going there, and there was a dwarf shopkeep named Frenchie who sold some bread and gave me my first sword. Oh, my first sword. 10 years ago in Minecraft. Man, if I still had stock in that sword, it would be worth millions now. Millions of minas. Yeah. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, those are some good memories. And aside from being chased by thousands of dwarves, what other things do you remember about the time when you still had time to roleplay on the server?
Oh, that's very quickly vanished. But yes.
Yes. Any other like moments during Aegis particularly, I'd say? Like, maybe we can shift it over to the Ascended and Undead time as well.
It was sort of like where there was like San Gisel, and then there was the like Nomad Camp, which was out front.
Yes, yeah, in the desert.
Which then sort of like converted itself into its own city eventually.
Yes, Sanhar.
Sanhar, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really sort of nice like that going along, and I quite, because being a nation leader just involves so much planning and everything. It's a lot more.
Eventually found yourself just like drowning in the responsibilities that had been handed to you.
Yeah, because it became like a full-time job for both. So I was like, I can only do one full-time job. I'm gonna pick one.
And I pick LOTC.
Yes.
Wow. And that leads us sort of into the broader scope of things now. And as we get into that, so from you joining LOTC from a help wanted thing, to moving into Aegis and all that, what are some of your responsibilities as admin that have, like, when the server started, and then that change up to now? Because obviously, eventually, there was a point where you're now the equivocal owner of LOTC. You're the guy who makes sure the lights are on.
At the start, there was a 50-50 chance that if your application was approved, it was approved by me.
Wow. Yeah. Up until what point? Like towards the end of Aegis or what?
Yeah. Towards the end of Aegis.
Yeah,
there's a 50-50 chance that yours was approved by me.
Yeah, I looked this up a long time ago, but who can say how many players on LOTC that there have ever been? I would say like definitely thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Not sure if I'd go
definitely
hundreds,
tens of thousands,
but tens of thousands of players.
Yeah,
maybe
it gets a bit flaky on.
But yeah. I looked up and counted, and I was actually one of within the first 1,000 people to join the server ever, which is pretty cool. But I don't think you accepted my application. I think it was someone else. The very few people that were.
Well, it was
there
probably going to be either me or like a Vela, because we were both just going through the list.
It was already when you guys had gotten a couple more people. Like first, I'm thinking of the name Chevalier right now, not a Veiler, but Chevalier, and I don't know if that even has anything to do with that. But anyway, so going back to my question though, of kind of the transference of you being what you are now, the owner of the server and the responsibilities you have there, what was sort of the point and what sort of led to that, and how has that been?
Yeah. So for quite a while up until that point, I was so after Avela left, the roles were split, as the Quixine was running the server and he was the quote-unquote owner.
Yeah.
And then I was running the forums.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Quixine left.
Yep.
To go start Dungeon Realms or something, I think it was now off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. And then Shift took over as owner.
Yes. Oh,
but I then started to do a bunch of the game-related stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was already dealing with the forum server, so it was just adding on the next one for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually Avela left. And then I carried it on. And that's at that point I then was owner Lord of Craft, and I gained new headaches.
You mean when Native left? I thought you said
yes.
Availer, because you already said Availer. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's getting into that part of it as we're moving on. What are, if whatever you want to share of them? You know, it's not often that we get to talk to the owner of LotC. I can speak from experience in that you are a chameleon that is hard to track and get a hold of, perhaps for the good reasons. But what
I don't try and be, but you know,
life is life. I'm also very busy. But now that we have you here and we've trapped you, Tythus, what are some of the sort of the back end operation of the server itself? What is that like? Of what you want to share with us or could share with us, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, you know, you just apply to the server and it exists and it maintains, and sometimes people donate, but the server's still there, you know? So what's that like?
So it's negotiating contracts with suppliers, you know, for like server space. And like
because we've had to do a few like server, the thing that supports the server itself. We've had to transfer that a few times and different things. Yeah.
And we now own our own hardware. We're not just renting it from some other company. And it's also doing all these exciting things such as taxes.
Yes.
And filing company reports. Ooh, it's so fun.
Wait, you have to file company reports?
Yes, because we are incorporated, so therefore we have to file reports.
And so that's like when gaming companies release their quarterly, you know, as you know, things like, here's what's going on at our company. Here's what's going on the premium Minecraft roleplay server. That's cool.
Yeah, that's just purely because of otherwise anything that goes towards Lord of Craft looks like my income, and I don't want to be playing around with that. So it's just I just like to keep them separate.
Yeah, it's very good. Well, and so here's a question that I think some people might be curious. When the server goes down, do you call, is there some cold storage room in Nebraska that you have to call, and some guy named Fred is like, no, I'm working on it? Or like, how does, what's your insight on, like, is there like a server room? Like, what does that look like?
first step is panicking. The second step is, it depends on actually what kind of outage it is, right? Because it might just be a little blippy outage or like whatever, and therefore we're contacting our host to then say, oh, the power's out, or or we can't do something about it, and then he then gets out and goes and takes a look. But if it's like a data outage or this, I won't say that.
Okay.
Or if it's like a data corruption issue, we actually have a backup, which is over there.
Yeah.
It's over there.
Oh, so a backup of the server itself is with you. Oh, that's cool. That's great. It's safe, guys.
It's safe, yeah. And I also have it hosted on the cloud with Amazon and also Google.
Wow.
But also I take hard drive sort of like dumps effectively. So like, those like portable hard drives.
Yeah, I have a few.
You just dump it out onto that, and then I take it over to my parents.
Yeah.
And so for Lord to go down, my house would have to burn inside a magical fire. So would my parents, and Google and Amazon would also have to go down and lose the data, and their backups would also have to fail.
Yeah. We have 17 contingency plans.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's good. The server is in good hands. That's great. So, that's your admin responsibilities. People that know me on the server have... Yeah, I love this comment from White Saber. Tythus, how does it feel to have thousands of lives in the palm of your hand?
Execute Order 66.
No! But... Yeah, for people that know me on the server,
it's a bit daunting.
Least, yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. I've never been an admin yet. Just kidding. But I've also been on several of the staff teams and seen some of the operational side of LTC and things like that. Before, I guess, with only about half our time left, I wanted to move us into talking a little bit about reflecting more over LOTC. So the first sort of topic that I have is there anything that you, in the last 10 years, have learned or you feel has like changed a part of your life in the last 10 years? And I'll go first. Because of joining Lord of the Craft, because at the time I was 13 years old, right? And I always liked English, but I never really had an outlet into it that I enjoyed. My relationship with English was like,
interesting.
Yeah, like my sixth grade English class, and that was it. And it was like English, whatever. But this basically became the first avenue for me when I joined the server to sit there and actively type for hours, And those of you that play, those of you all in the chat right now are LOTC veterans and things. You guys know that experience of sitting there, and that avenue of English matters. Not that the others don't, but it really has like a personal effect. Because of the role play and the characters that you play. So I actually owe LOTC a lot of my proficiency with English, honestly, because when I starting at 13, just hours and hours during that summer of 2011. And every year after, for blips of time, I would just sit there and type stories about my characters and stories about other characters. And I have my degree in English now. And I honestly don't think I would have had the proficiency that I have. Oh, also, my proficiency with keyboard typing, too. It also comes from LOTC because of typing for so long. And I remember going in, I had a computers class that we had to take in high school. And one of the aspects of the computers class was typing proficiency. And I was one of the fastest and most proficient typers in the whole class. And my teacher was like, oh, what? You have a lot of typing experience. And I'm like, have you ever heard of LOTC? No, but yeah. So that's something that I kind of carry with me. And then aside from all of my, my memories, of course, of the server itself, that's why I'll always kind of have a soft spot in my heart for LOTC, and why I'll get up at the crack of dawn. It's not the crack of dawn, but it's to do things, because it's meant a lot to me, So yeah, anyway, passing that question over to you, is there anything for you that over the last 10 years LOTC has sort of stuck with you or changed a part of who you are? Like if LOTC had never been there, it would have never happened.
For me, I mean, like, while I was always interested in coding and being involved in Linux and all that sort of stuff, it was just something that I was just idly interested in. It just wasn't something which, but now I have been sucked into this for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's now my job. I've actually got a job now based in coding now. It's great. Yay.
And LOTC was your first exposure to coding?
It wasn't like my first, but it's the first where like it wasn't just something I did for like a month and then just stopped because I wasn't maths.
Yeah, so it was sort of the foundation of your coding experience.
That pushed me to make me do it. Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, well, that's crazy. And that has now led you into the job that you have. It's awesome.
And also, sadly, knowing far too much about government paperwork, far too much for someone of my age. I shouldn't. And everything like
about.
So, Carl,
doing corporate reports.
How do you know about this?
Yeah.
P45 statement or whatever. It's like, don't ask. I just want to know about it.
I run the #1 premium Minecraft roleplay server in the world, but it's not like you didn't know that. Yeah. Wow. I was saying, it was funny because when you mentioned that Vakazine moved to start like dungeon something or start their own realm, and I'm just thinking there's got to be a split off server started by someone that was originally on LOTC for every year that LOTC has existed. Like there's got to be at least 10 or more. And
maybe not every year, but yeah.
And I'm just waiting for someone to get kind of like the equivalent of the Infinity Gauntlet and just take all of those individual split off servers that have been made over the years and be like, finally, now we can stop LOTC. But yeah, it's been interesting. I'm not sure if anyone in chat has had experiences on other servers. I've been invited and played on some of the other servers that have cropped up over the years, and they exist as with any sort of game that sort of spawns off of LOTC, as trying to fix a lot of the problems that the server has had over the years, or changing the infrastructure or the design of the game. And I'm sure a lot of them actually have succeeded in many ways, but there are aspects of LOTC that have kind of, we were talking about this before we started, right? Have stayed the same really since 2011 and have endured that whole time.
Because while some rules are really annoying, sadly we have to have them because not that I want to rein in on like anyone's parade or like anything, right? But just sometimes okay, I'm sorry, but you can't have this, but I want it, but you can't. It's so awful every time I say that, but I'm sorry, but you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll move into sort of the last thing before we, I think, take questions from chat, and that is, to you, is there anything you can say about the future of LOTC? I know that's basically been half the topic this entire weekend, right? Half the topic has been the past, the last 10 years, and then half the topic has been the future. I know that it's obviously not just you that determines the direction that the server goes, and in fact, with as many admins and moderators and operators and lore people, that's what they're called, lore people. I'm sorry, guys. That we have on the server.
I think that they're called lore masters. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes, lore masters. Yes, yes. There's a now at this point a whole crew of people that are working on the future of the server, and to be honest, all of the players too. That's the other thing that's so cool about LOTC is you literally change the narrative and the lore of the world. Orcs, the Orcish language was invented by Orc players and hasn't been used for the last 10 yease.
As
like
usually
that.
In these sorts of games, even though you role play, it's still you're expected to role play under these pre-existing conditions, and you can't change that. It's a fixed, like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. You can change how you react to it, but you can't change the rules of the world.
Yeah, exactly. But LOTC, within there is still a box, I would say, a creative box of certain limitations. Like we don't have guns yet, right, guys? I know every year someone's like, we want flintlock pistols.
Yeah.
And it would be cool.
And then I'm still waiting for someone to bring out nuclear weapons again.
Yeah, no. I may or may not have played a halfling that wanted to gather enough thanium to make a thanium gauntlet and then use it like Thanos. I may or may not have done that. Didn't succeed though, so we'll just forget it ever happened. But yeah, anyway, back to the question at hand. The future of LOTC. I know that kind of my point was there's a whole lot of people behind the future of LOTC at this point, right? But I guess I'm just curious to hear your perspective on that. In the case of, it's been 10 years and we are here. I actually thought a lot about this moment, and now that I'm here, I'm just kind of like, oh, it's been 10 years, So what do you think the next 10 years of LOTC will look like from your view?
I think that much like this first 10 years, they'll somehow still sneak up on us.
Mm-hmm.
If then we're here, 20 years later, I'll be like, what happens? What?
Oh my God. We'll be in our 30s. Oh God.
Oh no, I'll no longer be in my 30s. I'll be in my 40s.
Oh God. That's terrifying.
I'll be officially inside my middle age
area,
so I'll probably have my midlife crisis and buy a sports car.
Yeah. Well, do you think do you have any views on the sustainability of Minecraft? I mean, actually, I wrote down as one of my extra questions because I never stopped talking about this. Hightail is on the horizon. I have always breached the topic of if LOTC, because I've always viewed LOTC as a role-playing game that uses the engine of Minecraft, right?
Yes.
And feasibly meaning if there was a viable option, LOTC, how great would it be if there was a game with the graphics of Skyrim or beyond that, right? That we could drop LOTC in. We'd lose some of the benefits of Minecraft, obviously, but anyway.
Yeah. The answer is maybe.
Yeah. What do you think it would take, to I mean, obviously I think this is a community decision too, but just from your perspective.
Yeah. This would be like a year-long project.
I'm sure.
Because if we move, it would have to be everyone expects all the current systems to be brought over with it.
Yeah. That's true.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Right. This would be like a 10.0, 11.0, like a new map, new everything.
Yeah.
Bring it over.
So that would be a full-scale project.
Yeah, it's not something you just
let's go to
out quickly.
Let's go to Minecraft 2. Yeah. Yeah. Because we even have to do that for each of the individual Minecraft updates that come out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to do these it's less, but it's still these large, these kind of mini update projects.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing which I'm more hopeful for Hightail is, or from what it looks like, is that development is more cross version.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to
because at the moment, if you make something for like 1.16 and then 1.17 comes out, you've got to redo a lot of stuff, even though it's not really changed that much.
So it seems like they are developing Hytale with development in mind, which I think maybe necessarily was sort of a tacked on idea in Minecraft.
It most definitely was not something which Notch, in his infinite wisdom, was thinking about when he initially made Minecraft.
Exactly.
I don't think anyone was initially going,
you
know, oh yeah, and let's like, because there's been all sorts of crazy mods which have come out, you know, like
exactly.
like, you know, Pokemon and all that sort of stuff, being put into Minecraft and all that stuff.
Do you?
The answer isn't no, as far as Hytale.
Yeah.
It's just,
well, hey, I wasn't, that's more than I was asking for, so hey, that's good. I think there's this sort of resounding quality that no matter what we do, I think we all sort of want the core of LOTC to stay the same, you know, as it has been.
To steal a quote from
someone.
Endgame.
Oh.
Or is it 4.2? I'm not sure now. Anyway, Lord of Warcraft is a people, it's not a place.
Yeah, that's true. Because if the server were to suddenly just drop off, you know, like you were saying earlier, if your house burned down, if Amazon and Google went bankrupt, if everything was gone, there would still be people on forums, on other places, still propagating, you know, because it's almost like Minecraft and the server of LOTC is our window to view into this world that we've all communally created together. And it is still the world that we've communally created together. It still exists a bit externally just to the thing that lets us physically interact with it. I've never thought about it like that.
I'll have to quickly mention, I will have to be going shortly.
Of course. And with that, let's take a... Do you have time for maybe 2 questions or so from the chat?
Just a few.
Before Tythus gets going, that's the bulk of our interview. Like I said, just reflections on LOTC over time. And 2 guys who have not played the server super much over the past 10 years, but who have been here for super long, sort of reflecting on it. Chat, if you guys have any questions for Tythus, I'll leave it up to you as they start asking if you want to pick one to answer. But yeah, and a lot of them will probably be, you know, favorite admin, which you're not obliged to answer. But yeah.
It will never be Hero, because he's absolutely been the bane of my life. Damn you, Hero.
Yes. Wait, is this Hero 0?
Yes.
He's an admin?
Yes.
Hey, congrats. I didn't know that. Yeah, me and Hero go back a little bit.
Yes, indeed. I'm waiting for his response. Damn you, Typhus.
Well, this is a good one from Kaiser Thorin. What do you think LOTC might be lacking right now? What would you prefer the community add or change?
For me, the major problem always with Lords of Warcraft has always been the steep learning curve.
In what way?
Of, like, now that we've existed for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of baggage that comes with that, and it's not like it's just a quick 5-page pamphlet at the start 10 years ago, but now it's like, you know,
10 years of lore.
You know,
that is 10 years of lore that has been built every day for the last 10 years, except for when we've had like days where the server's down. But yeah.
Yeah, but even then, like it's still like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So maybe like more ways of when we get new players now, you know, it's kind of like I guess that's a something that a lot of MMOs have to worry about, right? If you start playing World of Warcraft right now, they're like 6 or 7 expansions in, and you might feel like you're missing all the story. And unlike with LOTC, the foundation is the same, but you can't go back to Aegis and relive the days of role playing in Aegis. You know, we exist solely in the present. But yeah. Anyway, all right. Grab another question if you like. I'll look as well. What are your biggest goals for the server in the next decade to come? Maybe is your biggest goal just make sure it keeps running?
Yeah, that it exists.
Yeah.
Although then again, I'm still amazed that we exist even now.
I know.
Right? Because when I started, I was like, oh, this is just like an Easter holiday thing. Oh, this is just like a summer break thing. Oh, this is the 1 year thing. Yeah. Oh, it's just a few thing. No, this is not just a few year thing. I'm still here.
Yeah, a lot of it is thanks to you sort of being on the back operations of everything. Like I said, you're not the sole, proprietor or the sole person behind the server. At this point, we have a whole crew. The reason
why it works.
But you are a very necessary component, so we owe a lot of that to you, to be honest. But yeah. Why don't we end on this one from Might Bemio? Do people in your IRL life know you own a Minecraft roleplay server? If so, how do you explain it to them?
Some do. Very complicated. I run a game server. Oh, you run a game server. Oh, what type of game server it is? And it's just. But the thing which surprises most people is that it's actually a fully incorporated company. I've had to incorporate.
Wow. Yeah. So and then how many times has this come up in your life?
Not that often. Like, it came up because whenever I've applied for a job, actually they'll do a background check on me. Yeah. Like, oh, we see that you're a director of this company. It's like, yes, I am.
What do you tell them?
What's this company about? Well, because naturally they want to make sure that, like, if I am applying for a job in coding, that it's not a coding company and I'm just gonna sod off and take all their secrets or something.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Well, unless there's any last questions that you would like to take, I will thank you for being with us. Do you see one? Yeah, go ahead.
Very quick one for Gustash. Have I ever been recognized in real life? Yes, but it wasn't very surprising where I was recognized. It was Minecon in London, when Minecon was in London.
What year was that?
Recognized me.
Was it early or late in the server's history?
It was one of the last Minecons, which was actually a Minecon. It was like the fourth or fifth Minecon. I think it was.
So somewhat recently.
So like midway, it's like 2016, something like that. Yeah. Although I'm sure I'll get.
Wow. And who recognized you?
I'd love to go to a Minecon.
Yeah. What was it? Just a player of the server? Was it a person on the staff?
Just a player of the server.
That's awesome. Okay, well, if that's that, and I think that's that, I know we have to get going. And like I said, I want to thank you for being with us today, Tythus. Before you go, you have to show chat your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Can you look at it? It's glorious. I love it. That is the most amazing shirt I've ever seen. That's great. Well, thank you, Tythus, for sharing this, what is for me my morning, with us. And people are saying drink the Pepsi. I don't.
Oh, I've not got any on hand. That's what I'm heading out to get. Actually.
Yeah, that's why you got to get going.
I need to go food shopping.
Yes. Well, thank you for being with us. Do you have any last messages or words for the server at the moment, since we've got you here?
Halt, halt, stand and deliver.
Mino or die.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Tythus, and have a great rest of your day. I will see you around.
Okay.
Yep.